Hi, I'm Jaclyn.
Hi, I'm Johan.
And together we are Harvey and Steele, and we are here to make your business everything that you want it to be. Recently, we took a survey on Facebook in our Facebook group, Harvey and Steele, asking what types of topics you would like us to cover in our coffee breaks. And one of the topics that you guys really liked was reducing overwhelm. So, at your request, we have created a coffee break with 5 ways to reduce overwhelm. And without further ado, I'm going to launch right in. So, step number 1, way number 1 is stop and breathe. So, this sounds very simple, but deep breathing is actually one of the fastest ways to calm down. Mindbodygreen.com had a great article recently, and it's 5 reasons why we should practice deep breathing, and I'm going to go over those just quickly. Number 1, and this is really surprising, but number 1 is weight loss. So deep breathing draws more oxygen into our lungs, which in turn delivers more oxygen to our heart. This increases our cardiovascular capacity and the amount of oxygen that is delivered to our cells. Much like an aerobic exercise, deep breathing keeps our cells in an aerobic state and encourages the burning of fat rather than the storing of glycogen. So crazy. Deep breathing aids in weight loss. Reason number 2 for the importance of deep breathing. It helps us to detoxify. Our lymphatic system is responsible for flushing out toxins in our body and carrying away waste from our immune system. Unlike the heart, the lymphatic system does not have its own built-in pump. So in order to keep the toxins moving, it relies on breathing and bodily movement to detoxify. Number 3 is relaxation. The parasympathetic nervous system is what controls our fight or flight response. Deep breathing triggers our parasympathetic nervous system, neutralizing stress, and it elicits a calming feeling. Number 4, deep breathing eases pain. When we are confronted with pain, it is our nature to hold our breath, but breathing through the pain is actually what will help us the most. When we breathe deeply, we oxygenate the blood, which causes our brain to release endorphins. It is these endorphins that help reduce stress in the body, and it decreases our levels of pain. Number 5, the 5th reason why deep breathing is so important, is mental clarity. When our mental chatter is distracting us, or when we are fixated on events that have happened either in the past or are yet to come, taking a deep breath helps us recenter and brings us back to the present moment. When we are experiencing an emotional reaction, slow, deep breaths trigger the release of endorphins, producing a calming effect. So thank you, mindbodygreen.com, for these incredible facts about why deep breathing is so important. So step number 1 in reducing overwhelm, stop and breathe deeply. Step number 2, and this is really important. Determine what is urgent, okay? Determine what is urgent. So part of the reason we get so overwhelmed is because we get caught up and distracted in so many little monotonous tasks. It's easy to fill up an entire day with busy work and then at the end of the day still feel like we accomplished nothing. So we've all been there, don't beat yourself up over it. The solution is to make a list of what is urgent versus what is important or what can wait. What you need to get done that has a deadline that's going to have a really good return on your time investment is what needs to get done first. That is urgent. Let me give you a real life example. On Tuesday, this last Tuesday on March 14th, we launched the Harvey and Steele website. The week prior to Tuesday the 14th, all of our energy and my energy went into finishing this site and creating a launch sequence for it to launch on social media. So we had a deadline, it all had to get done, no exceptions. And that means putting things that were important or things that I wanted to get done that weren't urgent on the back burner. But we have to realize we're human. We only have so much capacity in one day. So determine what is urgent, get that done, and then stop beating yourself up over not being perfect and getting to all the little monotonous things.
Absolutely. I'd love to I'd love to. I just get made fun of for saying absolutely so much. So absolutely, and I'd love to jump in at this point and talk about a resource that Jaclyn actually recommended to me that was fantastic about urgency and placing priority on it. And the book is called Essentialism: The Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Greg McKeown. And it talks exactly about that, about taking what's important and eliminating the rest. And both physically on a time scheduling level, but also on a mental level for mental clarity, really figuring out what's urgent, what is priority. And you can't name 10 priorities. The definition of priority came from being a single word. There wasn't plural for it. And we've over time created this idea of having 10 priorities, which is a wrong approach to it altogether. So I highly recommend this book. If you really feel overwhelmed in that way, then I'd say just pick this up and have a glance, because it's quite enlightening.
It is. It's so good. It's less but better. Doing less but doing those things better. Okay, so tip number 3 on reducing overwhelm is planning out your day the night before. So in that creation of the plan, I have several things that I want to recommend. First is buy a daily planner. And this is a little bit of an investment. I use Danielle Laporte's planner. It's about $40, but I use it every single day. It is so well thought out and so well done. I highly recommend it. My mom has it, my brother has it, my husband has it. I recommend it to everybody. So, purchase a planner, and then the night before, take 5 to 10 minutes and write down any meetings that you have, any phone calls, any commitments that you know that you are going to have to attend to. So get those in, scheduled, done. Then write down your 3 non-negotiables, your 3 priorities, 3 things that you must get done, those urgent tasks that cannot wait. And write down an estimated time that you think it's going to take you to do each of those tasks. And then plan those tasks around your already made commitments. Then, once you have that done, plan in some type of reward at the end of your day. Whether it's a glass of wine or taking time to go to the gym to de-stress, going and grabbing dinner with friends. Each day that you kill it and you're focused and you're doing what you need to do to have a successful day, you need to have some type of reward, something fun to reward yourself, so that then when you show up to work the next day, you have the energy to just crush it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, number 4. We talked about this in our first coffee break, the 5 tips to maximize your daily productivity, and that is you're here, so be here. When you sit down at your desk and you are about to start your work day, focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking actually increases cortisol, which is the stress hormone in your body. So multitasking creates more stress. When you're trying to reduce the amount of overwhelm, multitasking just completely is...
It kind of negates.
Yes, thank you. Negates.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, I'm forgetting my words.
No, let me say something about Michael Cho, who is the leader of Startup Crew. He just put out very recently a blog exactly about that, and it is just about, well, we talked about it in the Maximizing Productivity coffee break, but the best way to go about prioritizing your day. You're here, so be here. And it is, he just says in 4 points: write a realistic to-do list of 3 or 4 tasks that you want to get during the day. Create cycles with your work is number 2. And for them, they do it biologically, so it differs from person to person. They kind of say screw the 9 to 5. Find your biological cycle of on, off to engage those tasks one at a time. The third is 1 day of no work. So that you come back inspired, re-energized, and driven. And then the 4th is to find a true metric of measuring your tasks achieved, not the time that you spend, but the goals that you're reaching as you go, and use that as a true metric. So those are the 4 things that Startup Crew just talked about and published. So.
They're perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And Tony Robbins also said, you overestimate what you can do in a day and you underestimate what you can do in a decade. So be realistic about what you can get done in a day. Push yourself, but also don't set yourself up for failure by creating expectations that are so high. Focus on one thing at a time. If you get any of these like floating, distracting thoughts, write them down on a notepad to be addressed later so that you can get them out of your mind and refocus back on that one task that you're working on. Step number 5 to reduce overwhelm is take action. We get overwhelmed because we focus on how much we have to do, and it swims in our brains day after day after day. However, when you start implementing ways 1 through 4 that we just discussed in this coffee break, and then following up with step number 5, taking action, you will be creating forward movement and momentum every single day. Now, I can't promise you that you'll never feel overwhelmed again, but if you implement these strategies, I can promise you that you will reduce your overwhelm significantly. And then, on a side note, and this is really important too, if you're already very organized and you're doing steps like this on a regular basis, but you still feel stuck and you still feel overwhelmed, it may be time to address why you're doing what you're doing and whether or not it aligns with your personal beliefs and your personal desires. Because if you are consistently feeling anxious about work and dreading tackling your day, then that's probably a sign that you should be transitioning into something else.
Yeah, there's a great quote that I took to memory by Cheryl Strayed, the author of Wild.
Such a great book, by the way.
And she says something which is exactly along the lines of that fifth tip of taking action, and also about being anxious when you're stuck. And just it's a very simple quote, and it's go for a walk, and something will happen. And it really is that easy. Like when you're feeling stuck and you just can't get anywhere, it's not about how do I find something else in the whole world, like jumping on the computer and looking at something to try and connect with. It really is just go outside and experience other people and experience the world. Be social, go to a gathering, go to a young professionals conference in an area near you, go to a bar, talk to the bartender about their workplace. Just something as simple as go for a walk and something will happen.
Take action. Really, it's pretty simple. Take action. No amount of time management skills, organization, or distracted busyness will repair a heart that yearns to be doing something else. So there's your coffee break for the day. Thank you so much for joining us on these 5 ways that you can reduce overwhelm. Please check the details below for when we'll be having our Facebook Live Q&A about this coffee break, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks very much.
Cheers to growth and
Here's to the grind.